Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience. It is very much appreciated as I get a little bit of a break. Guess my green screen effect is actually fading out over here. My bad. I will fix that up at some point. Actually, it's fading out over here too. Man. Well, if you didn't notice it before, hopefully it doesn't annoy you too much. I don't know what that is. I'll have to take a look later. I think my green screen got moved back at some point somehow. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, we're hopping into our next series. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. And of course, I want to remind you guys, YouTubers, don't have to worry about this, but there is, in fact, all the VODs uploaded over to YouTube. If you are enjoying the stream, I do a lot of stuff over there, and I'm trying to do daily uploads, one series a day. Sometimes it's best of 3, sometimes it's best of 5, and everything. But it's over at youtube.com/FearDragon64. Everything except for the SD2HL highlights are also over on the YouTube channel. I do a new one every Monday. And I also have little vlogs and stuff that I do on Thursdays, but I don't know if people enjoy those. Either way, do consider checking that out. I'm trying not to do too many shoutouts to myself right now, because these games are freaking awesome, and I really want the players to be the emphasis here. But we get ready to move into our next series. It's going to be between Bioice and Cuddlebear for another Zerg versus Terran. Now, Bioice is kind of that really, really weird player, to be honest. He is not necessarily just weird in terms of his playstyle. Sometimes he is a little bit weird. He went for 2-base meta for a very long time. Longer than most players did. Back in Heart of the Swarm. But even beyond that, I think the big thing about Bioice is that he just disappears. He's a very hard person to get a hold of. He doesn't have much of a Twitter presence. He does have a Twitter, but doesn't really tweet very much. He doesn't respond to messages very often. He doesn't sign up for many tournaments, but he does sign up for some of them. It almost seems like at random whenever he feels like it. He is, I guess, what I would describe to most people as the quintessential, I like this game and so I play it, and I'm really damn good at it. I play it like a top GM level. But I don't think he has any interest whatsoever in actually being a competitive pro player. I don't think he intends on ever making a substantial amount of money off of it. If he can win something here and there, cool. I think he's happy with it, but I never get the sense that he's a really, really committed player. It's like a cool thing to see a player like that does well. He just enjoys playing and he knows what he wants and he goes for it. And of course, on the other hand, we do have Cuddlebear, rising star of Rival Gaming. Pretty strong Terran player, and Terran players that are good are a rarity in North America, so I'm interested to see what he can do. Has won $625 in prize money. Not a whole lot. And he's, of course, the American Terran player. So, winning any kind of series in WCS Challenger, making a deeper run. I mean, already qualifying for WCS Challenger probably means a lot for Cuddlebear. As I think many people would have said, yeah, he's on the cusp of making it and qualifying, but it's not really a guarantee. There are a lot of really other good players, too. We'll see what he can manage as we hop onto Proxima Station for game number 1, though, in this best of 5. Here we are, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. We have the green Terran player from Rival Gaming. Give it up for Cuddlebear. And his opponent, spawning up here on the top right-hand corner of the map, we have the Red Zerg player from Sloth Esports. Put your hands together for Bioice, who has been on Sloth Esports for a very, very long time now. 3, 4, maybe longer years? Of course, it wasn't always known as Sloth Esports, only something that happened, I think earlier this year. I think in January during Cheesadelphia they got announced. But they rebranded from Team Ascension to Sloth Esports. And even before that, Team.SCA, if you guys are super old school and remember that. But ooh, Cuddlebear. Cuddlebear is so cheeky. Going for the 2 racks. Of course, this is going to be a 3 racks Reaper. We're going to be seeing that 3rd barracks coming down eventually. As there's the SCV, and there is that barracks. Taking a look at Bioice's opening, though, he went for the hatch gas pool. So this is going to be the hardest kind of opening to defend against his opponents with. And the other funny thing is this hatchery is actually harder to defend than this hatchery versus the 3 racks Reaper. And the reason for that is, if you grab this hatchery, you can defend this choke point. Queens and everything will pop out over here. You get your creep spread going and everything. connecting your main to your natural, or even just getting a little bit further out, and you get a lot easier of a defense. With this hatchery, your opponent has all of this space to work with. Where, yeah, you can use links to try and deny them from moving up into your main base and your natural, but then they have all of this area where there's no creep spread, so queens cannot chase the Reapers. Not only that, but we even see a bunker going down right now. Okay. That's a little bit odd. Bunker does get canceled very quickly. Looks like the SCV does make it out of there, I think. Yeah, he makes it out of there with the SCV. Starts building another bunker, though, and the Reaper going to be very, very annoying. I think that at this point, Bioice can probably start making some assumptions about what he's up against, as having seen some of those Reapers make their way across the map, but Queens are coming off the line. They're going to try and push back this Reaper so they can get in range of the SCV, kill that off. It does force another cancel on that bunker. 50 resources lost so far for Cuddlebear, but only one Ling killed so far. He's going to be able to kill a second one now. Bioice getting really, really far out and aggressive with those queens. He does have another set of queens popping out, which I think is kind of nice because he's still going to be able to do larva injects by his hatchery. The next set of the larva injects is a little bit delayed, but he's actually holding the natural expansion ramp with queens. I was talking about how they don't have a lot of maneuverability, and if these Reapers ever got past the queens, sure, everything I was talking about before really comes into effect, but it's not going to here. 2 base layer coming out from Bioice. Oh god, I mean, I should have expected. This man loves his 2 base Spire play, and we could be seeing yet another 2 base Spire play, as he used to like doing back in the day. Looks like the Natural Command Center has finally started up for Cuddlebear. He's going to continue to get as much damage done as possible, and these Reaper Grenades are doing pretty well. There's no transfuse energy left over, so any damage done is going to be lasting damage for a little bit. One Reaper does end up falling over there, though. So Cuddlebear is starting to finally get a little bit more overrun, as he is not able to find the pickups he really wanted to. Ooh, knows where that creep tumor is. Is going to be able to pick it off. One more Reaper Grenade. Oh. Oh, do you think he missed it? Do you think he was guessing where it was? Surely he knows. Oh, the queens may actually just... Oh, god, the queen's moving forward. It kills off the creep tumor regardless. And that was the active creep tumor. Remember, any more creep tumors that go down is going to be less transfuses. But whoa, the Reapers commit in. Looking to get more damage done. They're going to get surrounded over here. There's no escape. Reaper grenades are okay, but oh god, that was really not the ideal engagement. Now the bunker, it has 2 Reapers in it, so it can get a couple more trades. Probably wants to escape out and throw down some Reaper grenades to cast these Lings as they retreat out, but both of these will go down as well to the Zerglings, and Bioice has a pretty solid hold now. His 2 basal Spire is also on the way, and he really wasn't significantly impacted, it felt like, by the Reapers. He didn't lose any workers. He lost 10 Zerglings, and yeah, he forced out a lot of Queens and a lot of Zerglings as well. But Cuddlebear also, of course, invests a little bit into that 3x Reaper, and he didn't go for a really fast 3rd CC follow-up. So the fact that he's down in workers, the fact that he is not exactly super far ahead in his tech, doesn't have Stim finished up, is only just now starting it. He doesn't have Combat Shield started up until just now. Those things are really going to make it a lot harder to deal with the mutas when they pop out. Cuddlebear, I mean, that losing the Reapers is going to really end up costing him, I think. If he had played safe and defensive, even if you don't continue to get damage done, I think just the fact that you have denied a 3rd for so long, moving down that ramp is really annoying and difficult. He was denying the creep spread, making it hard for the queens to push out. And even if he loses the bunker, you salvage that, or heck, maybe even just get picked off before you can salvage it. You retreat back home with the Reapers. Maybe you lose 1 or 2 Reapers on the way back home. You still have the Reapers alive. You have some standing force. And now he's not going to have any of that. Now the mutas are out. Baneling Nest also following this up pretty quickly. 3rd expansion now on the way as well. Surprisingly enough, Cuddlebear does get up his +1 weapons upgrade, so he can take out those mutas pretty damn quickly. He's going to have his Stim finished up in time as well. But Cuddlebear, just based on the fact that he doesn't have any missile turrets out, it makes me think either he had a misread on what he was up against with a super late 3rd, Or he was hoping that he could just cut corners since he did lose all those Reapers and maybe get a little bit further ahead economically. I'm more likely inclined to believe that it was the first and that he had no idea this was coming because he has nothing back at home. All of his Marines are loaded up in the medevacs and floating across the map. He loses all of these SCVs. I don't even think these mutas are needed for the defense because the Banelings are out. Centrifugal Hooks is not on the way, but there's only 2 medevacs. Okay, these are about the best trades that these Marines could ever hope for versus Banelings. The problem is, Bioice has such a ridiculously better economy that he can actually trade individual Banelings out for individual Marines. Because there is literally no economy. And economy beats no economy. 9 out of 10 times. Okay, units are starting to push in. They're actually starting to get some good damage done. I think these are the remaining SCVs. Or most of them. Looks like they get picked off. 3rd expansion will get taken out. But the mutas are still continuing to do damage. There's still a few Marines left over. No, I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say that orbital commands and mules are pretty good. +1/+1 though, ladies and gentlemen. +1 armor. Saving grace for Cuddlebear. He's got some hope. No sense in tapping out if it doesn't let you, if it doesn't affect your mentality too much. There's no sense in just kind of giving it a good fight. He does still have the medevacs, and the medevacs are going to go uncontested while the mutas are on the other side of the map. But he needs to kill that 3rd. 1 worker. Working away at that hatchery. No, Banelings, please don't blow yourself up on a 11 health worker. Oh my god. Okay. Well, it happens. It's a bit of a messy game right now. Centrifugal Hooks coming out. We got 1-1 on the way finally for Bioice, so we can play a bit of catch-up. Muta's still getting some good damage done. Oh, God. Is this the last worker? There's 1 worker left. Where's that worker? It's hiding. It's hiding in the corner. It's still visible, too.
Mineral field depleted.
The medevac trying to get some damage done. I think that orbital command is gonna die. That is actually gonna die. Baneling's getting focus fire down. Cuddlebear is focused on his micro over here. Oh, please, Bioice, just please kill that SCV. You're gonna kill an orbital. I know you're gonna kill the orbital, but please kill the SCV too. Just make it a 0 SCV game. Lock this stuff down, man. GG gets called. Bioice takes game number 1 with a solid defense versus the 3-rack Reaper and a very quick tech up into an unexpected 2-base fire. There's literally nothing else I could say about that. That was just like... Cuddlebear did not expect the 2-base Spire play. Granted, Bioice did a nice job. The fact that he held at his ramp was a huge deal. Because if those Reapers are moving in and out, that's one of the other big advantages. Normally, when you are the aggressor in a game of StarCraft, if you are hyper aggressive, you get a full scout out constantly on your opponent. Because you at least get to see your opponent's composition. If not, you also get to see the tech and everything that gets thrown down. And you have to remember, it's from the third eye perspective that we get. It looks really obvious, like, oh, well, come on, man, where were his resources going? He didn't have a third. But Cuddlebear was never able to break into the even the main base. He wasn't able to get far enough to even scout out that lair was being researched or anything. It may have just looked to him like, okay, maybe he's just droning up more heavily. You have to remember, there are other possibilities of what Cuddlebear could have been doing. Could have been getting up a Roachborn. I think it's a little bit less likely given the Banelings he saw. But maybe it was just a lot of drones. Maybe those lair tech and he was expecting a Hydra Den or like a Nidus Worm or something to come out. And all of those would have played out very differently. But, ladies and gentlemen, we happen to go into Cactus Valley, which we do have a map intro for. So we'll see you guys there in game number 2. What you know Here we are hopping into the game as we start in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. Top of the green Terran player. Give it up for Rival Gaming's Cuddlebear. Sitting down 0-1 versus his opponent. Up here in the top left-hand corner of the map. Going for the hatch first this game. Fearlessly on a 4-player map. It is Sloth Esports' Bioice. People in the chat talking about fast muta. It just reminds me of the meme on Nathanius' channel about fast muta that is now also moved on to Miss Magitek's channel. What happens if they go fast muta? Always fun. We got pretty quick double gas being taken over here for Cuddlebear. It's after the barracks and the command center. So maybe just playing a little bit of catch up to go up to a really quick factory. I'm not as familiar with exactly the super intricate dynamics of how the Terran builds play out, but we'll find out pretty soon what he's up to. Bioice going for the more typical opening, going for the hatch gas pool. Is gonna get a scout out on his opponent first as well, and sees that there was a command center. Ooh, this might be a CC first over here from Cuddlebear. Okay, that would definitely explain the double gas. That I know is something that Terran players will oftentimes end up doing just to play catch up after they've gone for a CC first. CC finishing up so close in timing to barracks. That's how I'm realizing it. But factory also being plopped down immediately afterwards. We got one Marine being made. Can snipe off any over-eager overlords that try and move too far out on the map. He's going to get the scout out first on his opponent. Command center seems like it finished up over the natural. What does the upgrade sound? He's got the default announcer pack too.
Command center
yeah, it was just 2 orbital commands being morphed in. Alright, reactor also being plopped down. Seems like it's most likely just going to be some reactor Hellions coming out. Bioice does go for a much faster third than he did in that last game. That last game was a little bit of a silly one because he was up against 3 ranks Reaper, and you can't really take a third when your opponent's got 7-8 Reapers inside of your natural expansion. Ooh, looks like 4 Zerglings managed to sneak their way in. Wow, Bioice getting a lot more aggressive. 7 Zerglings catching, I think, Cuddlebear really off guard. There's only 1 Marine out. He gets the wall in time. That is a really big deal. This legitimately could have just ended. This game could have been over if that wall didn't get completed in time. Or if the supply depot was down. Bioice gets a couple of really nice pickoffs, though. 4 workers for just those early Zerglings that he invested into. He's not making any more. He's droning up behind this. He's going back and starting to mine gas again. After having pulled off for a while. Since he got Zergling speed finished or started. Ooh, an armory coming out. Looks like we're likely going to be seeing a big Hellbat attack. We'll see if he goes for the Medivacs or if he goes for the Liberator / Vanish default. The fact that the Tech Lab's now researching Stim makes me think it's just going to be good old Medivacs. Heal up some of those weakened Hellbats as they start to take a little bit of damage. Very, very scary push in. Okay, Bioice does okay. He does throw down the Baneling Nest. I was gonna say not really throwing down any Roach Warren or anything. Really does seem to prefer these days. I haven't seen too many of Bioice's games because again he's a bit of a ghost at times. But from the games I've seen so far, he does seem to be preferring the Ling Bling Muta style, which stays true to the old style of Bioice that I used to know. I can't really think of too many games I've seen him go into Roach Ravager. Or just Roach in general, even Heart of the Swarm. Outside of like maybe some of the ZVPs, but I think even there I would see him kind of uncharacteristically from most of the meta go into mutas. So he really does love his Ling Bling Muta. Hellions have finished up their Hellbat transformation upgrade with Armory finished up. We're going to see the aggression kick off. 2 Marines joining in the fray. And pick off some of the overlords and be annoying. This could actually supply block Bioice if he's not being careful, but oh my god, those Baneling connections are so good. I think this is aggression is shut down. The Medivac dies, all of the Hellbats, 4 Hellbats getting hit by every single one of those Banelings is just worst case, I think, for Cuddlebear. He kind of tried to split up those Hellbats. But the problem was he split them up but not far enough, so that Baneling just ran into the middle of all the Hellbats. And that's a cleanup for Bioice. That was an investment for Cuddlebear. You end up delaying your third CC by a good bit to get up all those Hellions, to get up your armory. He didn't get up his 1-1 upgrades until just now starting those up, which I think the double evolution chamber. No, he didn't end up starting up his double evo. Okay, so not quite gonna have upgrades caught up for the Zerg player, but still, I do feel like Bioice is sitting in a very, very comfortable spot after that. Really just a perfect defense. So what is Cuddlebear going to be doing now? He's got the Medivacs number 2 and 3 coming out. He does have a Liberator out as well. Looks like he's up to 0 kills, though. Tried to move into the main base. Got picked away at by the Spore Crawler and the Queen, it seems like. There's not a lot of area you can really move in here safely. These spawns are kind of rough, because if you end up spawning up over here instead, maybe you have a chance to kind of siege up on this side, catch the natural expansion. Your opponent expands over here. Maybe you can move down and around, catch the expansion from this side, but really difficult with this expansion, I guess, location for Bioice to get a whole lot done with these Liberators. Oh, looks like the double Medvacs just going to be joined in by the Liberator. Sieges up and says, hey, you know what? These are still going to be good for taking out Lings and Banelings. It's a retreat path to go to. Going to catch Bioice a bit off guard as 6 Banelings still being more made, but he's got a lot already made. 67 workers, has a very healthy economy. Queens are doing a good target fire down on the Medivacs also. 1 Medivac so low on health. I don't think he can actually pick up anymore. 1 Medivac goes down. 2nd Medivac gets focus fire down, and the Liberator also ends up falling. Bioice gets yet another really solid cleanup. Cuddlebear takes a slightly better engagement that time. He's got 2 more Medivacs loaded and ready to go. 1-1 upgrade's also going to be finishing up, but the problem is just the fact that Bioice is getting away with a 4th. He's getting away with 67 workers. He's not that far behind on upgrades, and Cuddlebear is not hyper on point. He does eventually get up started 2-2. Only loses maybe like 5 to 10 seconds or something. So it's not as bad as it could have been, but even just those 5 to 10 seconds, Bioice gets a little bit closer to catching up. Spire on the way. 4th expansion, very low on health now. This may very well go down. Whoa. Widowmine kind of betraying him. 2nd Widowmine also betraying him. But I think the hatchery, the hatchery will end up falling. So that's a good pickoff for Cuddlebear. Very, very solid pickoff. Cuddlebear still only just now establishing a 3rd expansion. Throwing down a scan. Looks like he's cleaning up some creep over the front. That's good. This is the main attack path he would be moving in from his main base. Or natural expansion too. Ooh, but a Ling run by for Bioice. He's going to be able to get some free pickings on some of these SCVs. Cuddlebear's army slightly out of position, but Cuddlebear's army also going to be in position to snipe off the 4th again. And that is a kill, not a cancel. Lots of Banelings being made. Bioice going for another round of aggression. There's a bunker being made over here, and I like this. Oh, God, it's so... 1 hex off. I think if he was 1 hex further north, this would be a full wall off, but it's not going to be a full wall off, I think. Maybe? Maybe it is a full wall off. Well, Bioice doesn't give a damn. He just goes after the workers and the bunker. That is one way to do it. Oh my god. Okay, well, I think Cuddlebear was a bit focused on his drops and the aggression inside the middle of the map. Loses a few units and takes some good trades. Spire is done, but no mutas are out on the way. 21 Banelings being made instead. And that's on top of the 7 that are still out right now and are enough to clean up that force. But again, the 4th expansion almost could have gotten canceled over there, but Banelings saved the day. Bioice keeps his 4th alive. Kind of funny enough, the Widowmine and the Marine sitting in the middle of the map. Oh, I think the Widowmine's going to have enough time to lock on. Boom. 2 Widowmines less. 1 Marine. 1 Marine with stim. We'll eventually kill that. Bit of a run by. Oh, supply depot was down, but I guess it's not the biggest deal in the world. Only a handful of units really caught out of position. He gets the lift up in the main base. Catches all the Lings. No harm, no foul. He's going to be able to force us back. That 1 Marine, though. Man, so many of these Banelings are still, or SCVs are still soft enough from those Banelings. Okay, this is getting a bit ridiculous, Bioice. Your hatchery is finishing with half of its health because of one Marine. That one Marine's gonna kill these Lings. Yeah, he's microing it. He could take a direct engagement with these Lings, I'm pretty sure. With the medevac healing? Okay. There's also a drop happening in the main base. That's why Bioice is so distracted right now. Keeps the Queen alive. Is going to be able to clean up the medevac as well as those Marines. And here are the reinforcements. I've already done the job, boys. Let's claim victory together, he says. Oh, God. The Baneling's also exploding in. Cleaning up more of the workers. I think that Cuddlebear didn't end up losing too many more. He's still sitting at 51. Well, both these players tied up at 2-2 upgrades. No 3-3 started up for Cuddlebear. He really just having a hard time affording it, I think. Finally, we do see +3 weapons started up. No +3 armor, though. He's got a lot of gas, but not a lot of minerals. Mutas in a very large number, though. Getting up to what? That's 16 or 15 mutas? Enough to definitely dismantle some of the worker counts in these mineral lines. Oh god, and there's almost nothing over by the third. There's a bunker and okay, there is I heard a widow mine somewhere. There are some widow mines here. Oh, there's a lot of widow mines on the screen. I have no idea where any of them are though. Look at all these widow mines. Well hidden, well placed. All right, +1 carapace armor for the mutas is on the way. That's a cool upgrade. I don't actually see that as often. Usually I see the flyer attacks upgrade instead. But it's going to increase the survivability of the mutas moving into the later stages of the game. No, seriously, I cannot see any of the widow mines. Are there widow mines there? I can't even tell. That'll just be our surprise for later on. When the mutas finally go gung-ho onto it. Okay, here is Bioice's 4th expansion finally being established. Despite having a really good economy in terms of worker count, he has not had that 4th expansion for a really long time, and I think that's definitely hurt him a good bit. Most certainly delayed his potential to tech up into a faster infestation, but Muta's not coming back to defend, though. A lot of creep gets taken out, but Cuddlebear's also not pushing forward all that quickly. Widow mines in large numbers could get picked off by the Mutas, but if they burrow, could at least force them back a little bit. That's 1, 2. I think 2 widow mines go down. A third one gets very low on health. We also have Banelings busting on into any of the bio that gets a little bit too far forward. The remainder of the reinforcements, though, have to deal with the mutas that just obliterate the economy, only down to 31 workers. He's now moving in. He's trying to get something done. He loads up all of his medevacs, though. Has to back out. No reinforcements are going to be coming for Cuddlebear's aid. He even pulls some of those workers away. Maybe there was a Baneling run by. Maybe he was just afraid of the mutas. But Cuddlebear does load up into the main base. Oh, God, there's only one medevac over here. Pretty sure there were 2 that came in based on how many Marines are there, and all of them get cleaned up. Muta's still alive. This is just such a good play. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Those widow mine hits are so good. But it's not good enough. Bioice still leads up in supply. He's won the game with these mutas. This base trade, I mean, sure, there's a cardinal rule. Do not base trade a Terran player, except when the Zerg player has this many mutas and you have nothing back at home to defend. Oh, God, he has more mutas. He's 31 mutas. He can take on fights versus Marines. He's even got the carapace upgrade for these mutas. That's like fighting +2 Marines instead of +3. Probably doesn't want to throw this lead away, though. This is a lot of Marines. Forcing out some stims is really good. Your opponent only has 4 medevacs out. Granted, a lot of them do have energy. But picking off any of those medevacs is going to make it a lot harder to continue stimming. And guess what happens with the loop around? All the Marines are out of position. Okay, cool. Drew you over to the right side of the third. Let's kill your production again. Right clicks on an orbital command. If he goes for the other 2, could completely kill off the potential for more SCVs or mules to be dropped down. And it looks like that's exactly what Bioice's plan is. Oh! 2 good widow mine hits. Making this look a little bit closer. Bioice doesn't actually have too many Lings left over. He's got a lot of Banelings. 23 Banes. Versus 25 Marines, here's the reality of it. He can literally trade 1 Bane per Marine. And the mutas will clean up behind this. Killing off reinforcements still. Kills off the natural expansion. There's only 1 command center left over. Are there any Widow Mines? Oh god, I think those missile turrets are not long for this world. The rest of the reinforcements are stemming back. Cuddlebear is realizing he could not afford to sacrifice everything over here. He's down to 7 workers, 6 workers. GG. Bioice takes a 2-0 lead with some fantastic muta control and really just pulling his opponent apart. Okay, Cuddlebear putting up a good fight, but just getting, again, pulled apart by the harassment of Bioice in that game. Bioice now sits up 2-0 and we get ready to hop into game number 3. Where is it? There it is. Alright. Next map is going to be Belshire Vestige. I want to welcome everyone who's tuning into the stream a little bit on the later side. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to fix this overlay. It's bugging me. Give me a moment. Alright. Move this forward a little bit. I think that fixes it? No, that does not fix it. What is happening? Hold on. This is really, really bugging me. Okay. That's still not good. Alright, we're gonna ignore it. We're hopping into game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. It's match point. Bioice 1 game away from taking the series. Can he close it out, or will Cuddlebear put up a continued fight? Spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have the green Terran player from Rival Gaming. Give it up for Cuddlebear. And his opponent spawning up here on the top left-hand corner of the map, we have the red Zerg player now sitting at match point, 1 game away from moving on to the next round of the losers bracket. Give it up for Sloth Esports' Bioice. This is from the losers round 1. So both of these players got knocked down to the losers bracket after their first match in WCS NA Challenger. Trying to get back. Promise in the chat asking what league this is. This is top level NAGM. These are the top 16 players in North America according to qualifying for NAGM. Or sorry, NA Challenger. Okay, we do have a 3 Rex Reaper coming out from Cuddlebear. Going for the barracks on the high ground, and then the continued wall off over on the low ground. This is pretty typical to do on Belshire Vestige. Looks like the Overlord has not gotten vision of this, though. He may have seen 1 Reaper. I don't know if that's enough. Okay, he sees a hint of a 2nd Reaper. He's making lings. He's getting up Zergling speed. I think he might know now. He should have maybe seen enough. This is the first Reaper, though. Yeah, this is the first Reaper. Yeah, he's droning up. Okay, now he should know. Now he definitely knows. 100%. So it's going to be non-stop lings from here on out. Bioice has shown that he likes to try and deal with this with Ling Bling. And maybe some Spine Crawlers and some Queens. But he had a really good defense in game number 1 on Proxima Station. But can he continue to hold on? This is a very different map. The Reapers can get between the bases on this map. And there's not a whole lot you can do about that. You can try and push them back with the Queens and everything. But if you get too aggressive and have too many units over here, Reapers will drop up into the main base. They'll move around to this side, start getting into the mineral line, picking off units. There's just a lot of avenues of attack for these Reapers on this map. Okay, Command Center comes down behind this. Of course, a very typical follow-up. Ooh, gets close to losing a Reaper over there. 2 hit points left over. Killing off 3 lings so far. Not really forced. I mean, it's forced out a decent number. But Bioice now is, yeah, I was going to say, like, he's done a good enough job. He's kept his Queens alive and hasn't really taken too many losses. He can now start to drone up. Cuddlebear has given, I think, Bioice a little bit too much space. One really important thing when you're going for the Reapers is you cannot back off for this long, I think. Against a top-level player like Bioice, you just end up giving them too much space if you back off for this long. Yeah, it's good to like repair all up the health or regenerate the health on your Reapers, but you can be aggressive with the rest of the Reapers maybe. Or you can even just not actually like wait around for that much longer. Don't stay so far back. You have plenty of cliffs to work with without getting really fully surrounded or anything. As long as you're paying attention. Okay. Killing off an active creep tumor. Okay, that's some good damage. But Bioice is still sitting up 8 workers right now. There's 3 CC coming out behind this. So Cuddlebear is not in a bad position or anything just yet. But he really would like to get more damage done. At the minimum, he has to keep those Reapers alive. Cannot let them get surrounded and picked off. No more YOLO moves like he went for on Proxima Station. Okay, good Reaper grenades. Continuing to bait out these Lings. Oh, starting to lose some of the Reapers, though. Some of them get pushed out by those Reaper grenades. Okay, so he's lost 3 Reapers, killed off 18 Lings. I think this is a pretty decent trade. Cuddlebear should be able to move into the mid-game stage. Feeling pretty happy about himself. Forced out a decent number of Lings at this point, and a lot of these Queens. Not really injecting right now. Reapers. Ooh, getting some more Ling kills. Scan goes down, which I think was a hope to clear up a creep tumor, but maybe he was just thinking, hey, you still haven't gotten a third. It's like 5 minutes in, and I already have my third on the way. I don't see any gas geysers at your natural. Well, the gas geysers are there. He just only now getting vision of it because he only now pokes into that right-hand side. Maybe he was actually looking to see, are you going for a lair? He has not scouted into the main base at all, though. Ooh, good transfuse last second. Bioice keeps those units alive a little bit longer. There's a follow-up behind this. Factory being plopped down. Barracks with Stim on the way. Should have combat shield on the way eventually as well, I think. Since, well, Stim's halfway done. He doesn't actually have a tech lab on the second barracks. No, what am I talking about? I think I usually do end up seeing double reactor and 1 tech lab. No huge rush to get out combat shields. Since you'll have Stim and Medivacs out soon enough, and you're doing a lot of pressure to your opponent. Could get these Creep Tumors with grenades if he realizes where they are. He's seeing the Creep Spray come out. Poking back these Queens also. But Bioice has enough. He can push these back. The Lings are ready. Reaper's good. Ooh, goes for the scan again. Doesn't quite go for the Creep Tumor. Doesn't quite get far enough in. Kills off a lot of the Lings, though. Cuddlebear's still putting up a really, really nice fight here. I would actually say at this point, this is more than just paid for itself. The fact that Bioice, yeah, he's going for this 2-base Spire play. And he's still sitting on a okay worker count. But he needs to quite literally win the game with that 2-base Spire. His third expansion is ridiculously delayed. In fact, the third command center for Cuddlebear may start mining before Bioice starts mining from his. Oh, Baneling Nest on the way. We also got an armory on the way pretty... Well, it's like this is not that quickly. We already have +1 weapon finished up, +1 armor on the way. Reapers poking forward. Ooh, getting some really good damage done. A lot of these Queens are starting to fall pretty low on health. Transfuses are available, but the third gets scouted out. They have to engage over here. The Lings are coming in from both sides. But the Reapers catch wind of it, and they're going to try and go for the most cost-efficient engagement possible. They're going to try and kill as many Lings as possible while they go down. And I think they're going to be able to get almost every single one of them. Oh, four Zerglings is all that survives for that massive force. And now what is there going to be to deal with the Marine counter pressure? Cuddlebear moves in along the right-hand side of the map. Bioice has no idea. His Overlord vision on the right-hand side is completely shut down. 13 mutas on the way. Cool. 16 mutas on the way. Awesome, dude. What are you going to do about the Marines? Those 4 Zerglings are all the Banelings he can make. He doesn't even have more Lings to make more Banelings. Scans coming down left and right off of the 3CC to kill off all the Creep Tumors. Kills off all the Banelings. The mutas are going down. GG gets called. Cuddlebear begins a comeback. 2-1. Giving himself hope. Okay. We got one last game coming out as we hop. No, sorry. What am I talking about? No, Bioice is still at match point. We're going to game 4, not game 5. So we have at least one more game at a minimum or maximum potential of 2. That was a really complicated way of saying that. Ooh, it's going to be Abyssal Reef for game number 4. All right, ladies and gentlemen, will Bioice be able to close this out, or will Cuddlebear continue his momentum sweep and be able to take this? We'll find out as we hop into Abyssal Reef. Here we go. Game 4, ladies and gentlemen. Still match point. As we start up here on the top left-hand corner of the map, the green Terran player representing Rival Gaming. Give it up for Cuddlebear, showing signs of life. And spine down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have the red Zerg player going for a hatch gas pool. We have Sloth Esports' Bioice looking to smother out those signs of life. And for once, Bioice can rest assured he is not up against a 3 Rax Reaper. I mean, 2 of the 3 games he has faced, he has been up against a 3 Rax Reaper. And now it's 50-50 between 1 Rax Reaper expand and 3 Rax Reaper. Bioice will be very, very happy to scout this out, I think, considering his only loss so far to Cuddlebear has been to 3 Rax Reaper. But Factory is going to be plopping up. Reactor on the way as well. There's still a lot of very scary things a Terran player can do. Grabbing that second gas geyser will go up to a pretty quick starport. I mean, we've seen some of the really weird shenanigans that Terran players will throw out at Zergs these days with Masa's games. Going for 2-port Banshee. We've seen Hellbat all-ins. Seen the Widowmine drops. We've seen 2-1-1. Pretty big variety of what Cuddlebear could step into from here. It really is going to be dependent on what he does in the next 30 or 45 seconds. Command Center should be able to finish up A-OK, as no Lings made their way across the map off of a hatch first. So, Command Center is going to go uncontested. And there's going to be that starport. Okay. Show me the money, Cuddlebear. Are you dropping down a tech lab? Are you dropping down a reactor? What is this Bears going to do after this Marine? Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a tech lab. Okay. Oh, actually, you know what? On Abyssal Reef, normally I would say, oh, potential for Banshees. On Abyssal Reef, this map is notorious for Ravens just hanging out around down over here behind the natural and just constantly throwing up auto charts all the time. And Zerg players have really gotten quite annoyed with it, I think. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a Raven. There it is. Why am I even surprised? Third expansion gets taken over here. Bioice should have that completing. A-OK, no problem. Ooh, Hellbat. You got the armory coming up behind this. Raven joining up with the Hellbats is actually a really scary proposition. Now, it's potentially, arguably, scarier to have a medevac with the Hellbats, just because medevac will heal up the Hellbats. But if you're up against someone who's going for something like a Baneling defense, as Bioice has shown he really prefers to go for, well then, an auto turret, let me tell you something, will 2-shot those Banelings, I believe. Do 24 damage a shot. It is insane. Lings do get a big run by, though, and scout out the Raven, scout out a handful of Marines that they're going to be able to pick off. Auto turret has to be dropped down to clean up some of the Lings, and not even all of them. 3 men should survive, and can actually continue to whittle away at these these SCVs. This is a surprising amount of damage. Bioice gets himself a really, really nice position. And of course, again, also gets a scout out on what his opponent is up to. He sees the Cyclone coming out. That's a bit weird. That was not what I was expecting from the armory. Hold on. Do we have multiple factories down? No. No multiple factories. The Hellions are getting picked off over here. Oh god, the supply depot is down. All the units make their way into the main base. Cyclones, multiple numbers get revealed, interestingly enough, again. You will be able to clean all those up, but this has also bought so much time. Bioice has no fear of a big attack right now because he's had so much time bought. With the lair also going up, he's getting out a Roach War, and he's really like, okay, yeah, I gotta start getting up some defenses now. None of those units have been able to move across the map. The Hellbat timing has been missed. Maybe we'll see a Cyclone Hellbat attack, but it's going to be a lot weaker. Even the Raven does not have that much energy. Well, a lot of Lings out. Even though the Roach Run is on the way, oh, God. Hellbat, or Cyclones get completely surrounded. Well, there goes the power of the Cyclones. Queens, what are you doing over here? I guess the creep spread is over here. And they get involved in the fight. That's 100% of a cleanup. 0 units survive that. 1 Raven has enough energy to get some kills with the auto turrets, but those are 2 Zergling kills from defending his natural, not 2 drone kills. Bioice making 16 workers to play catch up on any kind of droning he's missed out on. This auto turret better go completely unnoticed. Oh god, it's going after the queen instead because there's a Ling run by into the main and the natural. Raven is up to 8-9 to kills. He's killing a lot of workers, but so is Bioice. And I don't know if Cuddlebear can bounce back from this. He's sitting down 40 supply now. The Lings are still not getting cleaned up. I think the Marines and the Hellions and the SCVs are going to be able to clean this up. But at what cost? Even the Marines are getting picked off. 13 workers left alive. Cuddlebear has 1 more worker than he started off the game with. And his opponents did take, I think, what, 7 drone losses? You know, that's 7 drone losses is pretty good, guys. The Raven is still alive. It can get some auto turret harassment done inside the main base in about 7 or 8 more seconds. But there's a full wall off over here. Cuddlebear does have his supply depots raised. Bioice cannot break through on that side. There's only 2 Marines left over. He could actually try and bust this down if he had a Baneling nest. Auto turret getting some good damage done. For Cuddlebear to come back in this game, this Raven's gonna need something close to around 35 kills, and they're gonna have to mostly be drones. But now Roaches and Ravagers coming out. Cuddlebear sees it, but he's leaving it up to 3 Marines to defend. Okay. I suppose there's an argument to be made about just going for a base trade in this situation because you have no hope of defending otherwise, but I don't think you can pull it off in this situation, Cuddlebear. Your supply depots are getting knocked down. The Ravagers are busting through. You don't have that many units left over. If you're going to go for it, lift up your Marines now. GG, well played. Bioice takes the series 3-1 and moves on to the losers round of 2. Or I should say losers round 2, not round of 2. Big difference. Well played by Bioice. Going for a lot of the really quick muta plays and finally finishes it off with a Roach play. Definitely really well played. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for that particular series. Normally I was actually planning on going through and doing all of the remaining games I have. I have 3 best of 5s left. But I may actually save that for another stream because there's another really cool event that's going to be happening right now. Especially if you're a fan of like NA players and stuff. And let's say Psystorm Gaming, since there have been a lot of Psystorm Gaming players. It's going to be cast by Penguin, I believe, and Tenshi. It's a show match between a bunch of the Chinese/Taiwanese scene called the Asia All-Stars team versus Psystorm Gaming. It's happening over on Penguin's stream. I'm going to go ahead and host them up and actually end the stream here. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed the broadcast, please do consider following and all that good stuff. That's the best way to get noticed if you want to catch more of the streams. You'll get email notifications, or you can also turn those off if you're not a fan of them. But also, if you really want to support me, I don't have a donation button. You can technically cheer, but I don't actually really, like, I mean, I leave cheering in because some people just really wanted to be able to use cheers and stuff sometimes. But I removed donations because I really don't think I need the money. So if you really want to donate to someone, do consider donating to some of the players or some other great streamers out there. If you really, really want to contribute to me specifically, or you want, for example, replays from NA and EU Ladder Heroes, probably not these replays. I'm not allowed to give these away, but replays for events that I run, and you can consider subscribing to the channel. That's actually the best way. If you want to support me, subscribe to the like monetarily, subscribe to me. Not because I want the money, but because I want those damn emotes. Oh, those emotes are... I've been dying for more of them. I only have 3 right now. But yes. Besides that, I also have a YouTube channel where I am constantly uploading 1 game a day, 1 series. That's going to include some of these things, but also a lot of games that you may not have seen before from some of the other previous broadcasts, as well as NA and EU Ladder Heroes monthly finals. Some of the games that we're uploading today and yesterday, I think the most recent game that I uploaded is actually just like one of the absolute sickest games I've seen in a while. Let me double check this. Going to my channel. Oh no, sorry. The most recent game that I uploaded was Scott Torx versus me, which is a cool series, but not a super crazy one. It was Jon Snow versus... Oh wait. Oh yeah, this... I'm still actually uploading. I'm not even uploading NA Ladder Heroes games right now. I'm uploading other WCS NA Challenger games. So if you guys want to check those out, more WCS NA Challenger games... if you just really don't want to watch whatever the channel that I'm hosting in Penguin Stream and stuff, you just want to watch more of the WCS NA Challenger games, you can go check them out over on youtube.com/BeerDragon64. I am really trying to kick off my YouTube. That is like my number 1 focus in life right now, is making YouTube work. And right now, I don't have a huge YouTube, but I've been staying consistent. I have an upload a day for the past 61 days now. So yeah, feeling good about that. But okay, that's enough shoutouts and all that stuff for me. Check out all the players that we got to see play today. We had at Jon Snow SC2. We have at PSI True. We have at Puck_SC2. We have at PeelyPeely96. These are all Twitter handles in case you couldn't get the at symbol thing. Jig doesn't have a Twitter, but go support him next time he's playing in a tournament. He has like literally no social media presence whatsoever. At Game Time SC2, at Elevate Masa, at I believe, is it Digit Silky? Is it Psy Silky? It's at PSI Silky. Damn, he's one of the players I don't get to cast as much of, so I was a bit surprised. Alright, I don't know his Twitter by heart just yet. At Bioice SC2, at Cuddlebear. I think it's at I am Cuddlebear, actually. I am Cuddlebear. As if he was on Team Incredible Miracle from back in the day. And, yeah, I still have 3 more replays left over. It's Jon Snow versus Jig for the Losers Round 2. Semper versus Panda Bear Me for the Losers Round 2. And finally, Losers Round 3 match between Silky and the winner of Jon Snow versus Jig. You can technically look up the results. I'm not going to spoil them in case anyone really wants to just try and stay in the dark about it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys stick around for the host, and I'll see you guys next time. I may even end up just streaming like N64. Oh, one last thing. I am streaming the Dust League semifinals tomorrow. It's going to be Psystorm Gaming versus Root, as well as the Sloth Esports B team facing off against... Oh man, I should really know this. Wait, Sloth Esports versus Psystorm. That doesn't sound right. Oh yeah, it is. Sorry, it is Psystorm. Psystorm versus Sloth, and it's Root versus Dust in the semifinals. Those are the 2 matches that are happening. So be sure to check that out tomorrow. It'll be on this channel. I'll be casting with Tempo, so it won't be a solo cast if you aren't a fan of my solo cast. Or at least I'll be casting, I think. Yeah, I should be casting all of it with Tempo. Okay, I'm done. I promise. We're out, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful, wonderful night, and keep StarCrafting.